Hi. So, yesterday I watched Suzume, Makoto Shinkai's newest film, and I have a lot of thoughts. I wrote them all down and I want to talk to you about it. For those of you who are new here, my name is Inakyu, I make anime content, and today I have a mostly spoiler-free review of Suzume. This guy right here, Makoto Shinkai, just knows how to make proper anime cinema. Proper movies. He makes films that are such a spectacle to see that I feel like this film is best to go in blind. Yeah, my best recommendation is to go in knowing nothing about it. So I say go do that and then come back to this video if you want to hear my thoughts about it and if you just want to keep a conversation around the movie going. So now that is out of the way, let's talk about Suzume. I'm a sucker for emotional films, and Makoto Shinkai seems to be the main man for this. As I said in the intro, a lot of audiences, including myself, go into his films with a lot of trust. We walk into the theater to watch his films knowing and expecting something really emotional and really striking to happen. Which is really cool to see a director kind of get so well known globally to Western audiences, much like how we know what we're going into when hearing Miyazaki is attached to a title. Or like Studio Ghibli, like you expect escapism with Ghibli. And with Shinkai lately, he's made a name for himself with having a lot of reoccurring themes in his stories that he's been putting out. And after the worldwide success and obsession I personally had with Your Name, and then getting kind of underwhelmed with Weathering with You, I was really curious to see what Shinkai would do moving forward. Will it just be another movie that's rehashing previous plotlines with a Rad Wimps soundtrack? Or is he going to deliver something new, unique characters, a new story that's like lasting in our minds with a Rad Wimps soundtrack? And after watching Suzume, I'm honestly really thrilled, but also surprised to say that this movie worked super well for me. Maybe too well. Kind of like the sponsor of today's video, Atlas VPN. Hey yo, we got a sponsor. Guys, if you identify with being chronically online, terminally on the internet, please do yourself a favor and get a VPN. Atlas VPN is a virtual private network that hides your IP address and encrypts all of your online browsing. This means that it protects your search history and whatnot from internet providers and weirdos that want to see what you're doing and where you're doing it from. Atlas VPN not only protects you from creeps and hackers, but can also protect you on all of your devices with a single subscription. Yes, even on your phone, so when you join public Wi-Fis, you are still protected. And not to mention that if you're like me and you like watching movies or shows that are only available in different countries, you can use a VPN to virtually locate there and watch movies. Yes, just by clicking your mouse, you can technically be in like the Netherlands, Canada, and have access to all of the movies that are over there. You can still stream, play your favorite games, and also look at all of the anime culture you want, all while being protected. It's the most affordable VPN on the market right now with more than 6 million users worldwide. Right now, I'm here to tell you that Atlas VPN is running a huge discount where you can get a 3-year subscription for $1.99 per month. All with a 30-day money-back guarantee. I'm here to save you money, like, guys, that's an 82% off discount. If you're interested in this deal, you can go ahead and click the link in the description down below. Also, if you just want to help out my channel, guys, clicking the link down there does wonders. Thank you so much, Atlas VPN, for sponsoring this video, and guys, please be safe on the internet. The first hour of Suzume, honestly, the first act is so well done. You're literally so hypnotized and like in awe of everything that's shown to you. The characters, the action, the world building, the emotional stable Howl Pendragon. Now, what is this movie about? Well, based off of the trailers and the posters, we know that it's about a magical door, a chair, a cat, and in good old Shinkai fashion, trying to prevent a bunch of death. And in this case, the destruction of Japan. But of course, that's just on the surface. In reality, the heart of this film is that it's about life and what it means to be living with the existence of death. This is the final layer that creates such a difference between Suzume and the other films that Shinkai has put out. Okay, what I'm about to tell you is not a spoiler. Think of it as me trying to tell you something so you don't get your hopes too high up, okay? Unlike Your Name and Weathering with You, Suzume is not a love story. I'm not saying that romance isn't there in this film, but the fact that it's not the driving force of this story or its characters' motivations, it honestly makes all the difference for this film and creates the emotional resonance for the other themes throughout the movie. There is a connection between two characters, but it's something much more mature and more fruitful than anything we've seen before. This movie is also full of action. It's action-packed. From the beginning, we are straight in front of disaster. Here's the problem, the situation, it's up to Suzume to fix it. Which is something I really appreciate being done instead of spending so much time to set up characters, all this exposition in ways that feel forced. Never at all did I ever feel that the characters, the transformation into a chair, the cat, to feel like a gimmick. It never felt like these things were made to be a cash grab plot device. It actually felt like real, mature storytelling. Yes, the plot and its characters just felt so well done, so well written that when all of these ideas and all of the characters' purposes kind of just weaved together by the end of the story, Suzume offered a reality that felt so tangible to me. It felt tangible, it felt real, like there's more. Like, for the first time in watching a Shinkai film, I wanted so much more. I want more. I genuinely left the theater so sad to be back in reality. I just feel like this movie set so much more up, that there's so much more to learn, to experience, there's so much more to offer from this world that he made. I want a manga, a light novel, an anime series, a dating sim to get with souta. I honestly just want more time with these characters. And with Suzume being more high concept of a film and disorienting story-wise than his other films, you would think that this movie has kind of been spoiled with everything that you've seen in the trailers, what you've seen online, but that's not the case. That's all just the appetizer for what's to come later in the movie. Now, character-wise, there really isn't an antagonist to this film, other than the impending doom of Japan, but there is a complexity that comes with the lack of a villain in this film. The movie is about its main character, Suzume. She's headstrong, makes her own choices, has agency, and pushes each part of the narrative further. Suzume is kept at the forefront of the film despite it being a save-the-world type of movie. Honestly, it's a miracle that this movie works in the way it does, because I feel like it's super easy to fumble the bag with a story like this. It stays really grounded through being a character-driven film with all these breadcrumbs of Suzume's inner conflict like littered throughout the movie. It also stays grounded with her dynamic and character interactions with the other main character, Souta. Souta had such a standout role in the movie despite most of it being of him as a chair, which honestly is really unfortunate because look at him. The voice acting was done super well in this film, and especially is shown through Souta because his character never felt like dumbed down despite him turning into a kid's chair, an inanimate object. Throughout the film, we continued to feel the presence and weight of Souta as a person. As a character, he was written with such great qualities to challenge Suzume and her character growth. It's a film where the characters never really had to over-explain themselves. It didn't have to. Every scene, as stated, had a purpose, and it felt really natural. Sota's character aside for a second, I also really loved Suzume's aunt, Sota's roommate, Serizawa, I think was his name. He was so fun. He was such a fun character. There's a really big road trip aspect, adventure kind of feel to this film in the second act. There are characters that we meet that are definitely pretty forgettable. Although I feel like they were supposed to be overall, like, they're definitely side characters. I definitely think the moments with these forgetful characters were actually made for interaction and character building between Suzume and Souta. I honestly could go on about Suzume and Sota's chemistry and the relationship, like that could be its own video alone. Honestly, I would love to make a video analyzing how Shinkai writes romance and connection. I would love to compare Suzume to Your Name and Weathering with You, especially with Suzume not being about love. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that, because I'm very interested. Again, back to Souta, because Scatterbrain, and I want to mention him again, because he's the second lead of this film. I just really enjoy his character. He was just so well written. All of the breadcrumbs, the small bits of his life were littered throughout the story so well. We don't get a full explanation of who he is right away. There was just enough ambiguity about his character that learning more about him always felt natural. And then also with the cat, but I don't want to say anything because spoiler free, just there's a really big Ghibli kind of feel and aspect to this film. I feel like that's another topic of this movie that I could make a video about. Let me know if you're interested in that too, I guess. But like, the cast of quirky characters, a headstrong female, there are tons of references to Ghibli and Miyazaki that I really appreciated throughout the film. There's also a flashback or dream kind of sequence that occurs throughout the movie that sets up the climax very, very well. There's a moment when we get to that climax where we get to the thing that's been building throughout the movie, and it's so elegantly done, it's so impressive. The way that it tackled its theme of living with death not only in our personal life but also in the world around us was so effective. If you've ever had to heal from something, had trauma, this film will resonate. It'll make you cry. And throughout my watch, I really didn't know where this movie was going to go. Where is it gonna take this idea? There were definitely moments where I was like trying to predict what would happen next, but Shinkai made things so grand that he was still able to surprise me until the very end of the movie. And after leaving the theater, I also was able to learn a lot more about the backstory to this film, and the themes hit even harder after learning it. Suzume was portraying the coexistence of life and death, especially with the earthquakes and tsunami that happened apparently in 2013. So while this movie impacted me, I'm sure it hits even harder to those that live in Japan. Just overall, this movie, Suzume, is such an experience to watch. Obviously, if you can't tell, I recommend for you to watch it. If I had to have some gripes though, as I said, there's so much set up that I feel like there needs to be more. There's a lot of unsolved questions at the end of things, like just to say things vaguely because spoiler free, like why was the cat so obsessed with Suzume? Like to the point where it affected its health and stuff? How did the cat make Tamaki, I think was her name, like air out a bunch of dirty laundry? That's just some of the questions I have at the top of my head. I literally saw it yesterday, so that's all that I think I have to say about it right now. I especially want to hear your guys' thoughts if you've seen this movie. But yeah, that's my review. I hope it all made sense. This is a pretty different type of video for me. I mostly do like analytical things and like recommendations that are just like really quick, never like just like full-on reviews, you know? So please leave a like if you enjoyed it, or dislike if you really want to. Comment, subscribe, all of it, none of it, whatever you want. Follow me on all of my social media. I started streaming recently. Really, comment down below and maybe I'll do more anime reviews. If you've seen the movie, do you agree on what I said? Do you disagree? Did you wish I talked about certain aspects more review-wise? Did I miss some things? Just let me know. It's not like I care or anything. Cool people comment on videos.